Good afternoon. This is Malu from Hearts&Minds Development Center. Welcome to Being Whole, Being Me Series 76. As you can see, I'm in a different space. I'm going to move a bit this way. Why? Because today is very, very special. We have Dr. Sangeeta Kaur, as you would have seen. Now, who is that Dr. Sangeeta Kaur? Can I call her a friend? Not sure. Can I call her an enemy? I'm not too sure. But, I better say some nice things about her since, Alia says, greeting partners in crime. Yes, so that's the other criminal. Hi, Tangam. Now, so glad to have Dr. Sangeeta Kaur now. You can see how famous she is, so it's like amazing that we actually got her here today. October is dedicated to mental health, and I am very grateful that Sangeeta said yes to me. So who is Sangeeta? Now, you want to know why she's very particular about mental health, because you look at the kind of things that she's actually doing. She's the founder of EJ Asia, training and development organization. She's the founder of Yayasan Health on World. She is the co-founder of IREMA, another mental health platform that she has co-founded. And if you had seen, she took photos with all these happening ministers. That's because she's just got an award for private practice 2022, best private practice, okay? Best counseling private practice, right? Now, and a lot more things. And YHOW has just been granted, haven't just got a grant so that they can run more training programs, more programs on mental health, and much more. So I think, enough of me telling why, we're very lucky, blessed to have Dr. Sangeeta. I think we should invite her, right? Well, I hope you're excited to see her as much as I'm excited to see her too. All right, Sangeeta, come on.
Hello.
Okay.
Hi everyone. Hello.
Okay, so we know how she needs a lot of help with mental health now.
I need help.
And I'm your friend because I need help. And Alia needs a lot more help because she got 2 partners in crime. So welcome. Hi Gerald. Good. Happy afternoon. Yeah, you can see how happy we are. Happy afternoon, Malar and Dr. Sangeeta. Why you call her Dr. Sangeeta? You never call me Miss Malar. Looking forward to hearing from the multiple award winner. Don't play. All right, Sangeeta. So thank you. Welcome to the office. And so tell us, like, how do you do so many things and still look happy? while when we do, half of what you do, I already need help with mental health. Okay, so tell me, how do you do so many things and be happy?
How do I do so many things? First of all, I don't put a lot on my head. just follow the flow, one step at a time, whatever makes me happy, which is always, giving it back to people, communicating, doing adventure stuff. That's what makes me happy.
Okay, lah. Now I wish I can say if you're happy. Okay, but never mind. Yeah. This is going to be crazy. All right. So now tell me, right? Gerald says already resonates well, yeah, because he's also very much into this happiness factor. Now, help us understand how you got into this counseling journey, because I remember vaguely when I came for the launching of Why How. I remember your story a little bit, and so so tell us, how did you fall in love with counseling?
Okay, so it was like a long time ago. It's like what, in 2005, 2006, around that time, right? So I really, that time, married, got kids and all that. So I want to understand my kids better.
Okay.
To know about, behind the scene, their brain, how it works and all that. Then I, got someone sent me, I can't remember who sent me, say that there's a psychology counseling talk in, this location. So I went. So I said, okay, I just enrolled.
Oh, really buta lah.
Buta ni. Because all this part is always under IT.
Okay.
I do my NCC, business IT, information, multimedia, everything in IT. Then suddenly it's all about psychology.
So your children,
It's about
children
counseling.
you must thank your children, right?
Yes.
Or is it the husband first?
The kids.
The kids.
The
Okay.
husband already together, ma.
And then okay. So so isn't that interesting that what children make you want to do it? So you obviously got into the field of psychology because you were curious, right? So being curious about wanting to know your children more, have better relationship with them, which I think most parents would. You enroll, but how did you get so serious about counseling?
Okay.
I mean, you're fanatically serious.
You see, my diploma, my degree, in IT, and I do coding. Okay, last time coding is not like now.
Now I know where your nerdiness comes from, lah.
So a lot of coding. I developed few software programs and all that, but I feel it's not me. Even from young, I'm a people person. So you ask me to sit in the office, you ask me to do, I can, but it drains me up. So that's why I know that I like to communicate with people, talk to people, understand what's beyond body language, what's in their mind, how you decipher few things.
Read people's mind, kepochi.
Not kepochi lah. Don't give me kepo and drama. I'm not interested. Okay, give me something that can enlighten myself. Then I'm interested.
If you want, people don't know. We'll put in Alia's what Alia wrote about you this morning. So, wow, I didn't know the nerdy part of you. Now it makes a lot of sense.
Always in STEM.
So pandai.
Okay.
Okay. So, but what made you when you studied psychology?
Counseling, masters in counseling.
So, what made you focus on counseling? What were you trying to resolve?
Okay, people always come to me asking for stuff, and sometimes it can be quite heavy. Because I used to experience my own issues, my own problem, and the people who talk to me is the same thing. So that's where I feel like I want to go deeper. And there's a lot of, so once I'm in the course, it takes 4 years to finish, not easy, And there's a lot of things we learn about psychometric assessments, right? So if you give us any psychometric assessment, which is non-clinical, we are able to do it, right? So the moment I do a lot of assessment, a lot of journaling, a lot of processing, that's where a lot of issues, which I think is not there, comes up. So for me, it's like a sense of cleansing. Okay, from the emotion, from the way I interact with people, because I'm a social individual. Okay, my preference, my personality is more to social. Sometimes when people say something, it can get too personal. That's why I always say nothing personal, right? It's like a reminder to myself and also a mantra. So from there, I learned that, okay, things are in my control. I'm able to manage. But things are out of my control. I should ask. I should know how to do it. And sometimes I just get it done. Because you don't need people's approval all the time. You don't need to get, yes, we all need acceptance and approval, different level, but not petty things. So the more I go deeper, then I apply it in my kids. Because trust me, if you're a mother, you tend to control your children. Everything also you say, no, cannot, listen to me and all this.
Fathers also lah.
Mothers more.
Yeah.
Fathers able to let go. Mothers tend to take it too personal and all this
Because
stuff.
we give all of ourselves. Okay.
That's the mistake.
Correct.
When you give all, you have nothing
Left.
So,
Learn from the fathers.
yeah. Right? So that's where.
Nice. Okay, so what you're saying is that you did psychology, you went into counseling because people were talking to you, and while you were doing counseling, what you realized is that there was a lot of growth that was happening for you at a personal level. But what makes you choose this as a career? Not only career, right? It's not just a career. You've chosen this path, by setting up YHow, right? Which is also counseling, reaching out to more people. And right now you have set up Irema as well. And so you're definitely passionate about it, right? Already we listen to our friends, so we're tired. Just listening to people every day. But so tell me, what was that? Is there a one moment in time where you told yourself, really, I got to do this? And why?
Okay. I believe we are a champion. Okay? Within. We have everything. But we fail to acknowledge that. Okay? Because we really need acceptance, we need approval from others, and we don't understand. And most individuals like to internalize external factor. Okay? So when they internalize external factor, is that they lost their identity.
Internalize external
factors.
Okay, I don't understand.
Okay. For example, if someone say, Mother, you are so kind, you help people, what you do?
Correct, Lord.
Okay. If someone say, oh my God, you are terrible, how can you dress up sari for this event? How can you do this?
Okay, Lord.
For you, okay, because you emotional lah.
No,
But most of them, no emotional EQ lah. But most of them, they'll be like, oh my God, I don't think, okay. They try to change who they are, which we don't want. Okay? I mean, there's a lot of factors, but it must start from within. It must start small, slow, and a lot of, detox will be in your mind, in your heart, in whatever that you do. So it goes slowly. So that's why the more people talk to me, they say that, hey, I like talking to you. I know whatever goes to you will never go out. And you are so comfortable to be with because you don't show your atas. Or you deal with everybody. So that's where when people say good, nice things, it boosts my ego, right? It boosts my ego. I feel so nice. That's why I do more.
Okay. So what you're saying, basically, what I'm hearing in what you're saying is that we are actually finding ourselves in the process.
Of course,
right?
Always.
Because what would have definitely happened is that we would have become what our total past of our programming has made us to be. And through counseling, I suppose counseling, we need to go into what is counseling.
Yeah.
And what happens in counseling session is I begin to realize what caused my unhappiness. So obviously I'm unhappy, that's why I come for counseling. People don't come for counseling and they're like, I'm happy, can you isn't it, right? So I'm unhappy, so I come for counseling. And during this conversation or whatever the process of counseling is, what happens is that I begin to now reflect, figure out, and find myself in that process. Because at core, I am happy. I probably learn how to be unhappy along the way. Is that what you're saying? Oh, good news for all of us. We were born happy, we are happy. And if you're not happy, that's because you need a session with Sangeeta or her team members. Okay. So, yeah. So tell us, define counseling first.
Okay, counseling is a process. It's a therapeutic process. It's a journey where an individual who have issues, right, they come and talk to us. Okay, more like talking therapy, lah. People say.
Talk therapy, yeah.
Yeah, right. So it's about knowing that I need help, acknowledging that I need help, and I can talk to someone in a safe space. Okay, not being judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, able to give me from a different perspective,
Mm-hmm.
to be professional and different perspective, and guide along the way.
Mm.
You see, when people come talk to us, right, 80% is all their presenting problem is not their core problem.
Mm. Surface.
Yeah, right. So when we start to listen, there will be teams. So we'll listen, we take information, then just put in the puzzle, and then we ask. So it's all about validating. It's all about asking them back. Because when we talk, sometimes we don't listen to what we are saying.
Mm.
So we are here to decipher that for you to see that is this what you need.
Mm.
There's a lot of rephrasing, paraphrasing, things that will be, in the session.
Mm.
Right? 80% from the client, not from us. Because if we start to put an emphasis that I'm going to do this for you, I'm going to rescue you, then it's not a beautiful journey.
But Sangeeta, all the things that you're saying, right? Talk, safe space, different perspective. We can get from our friends also. Why must come to a counselor?
Okay. Friend, there's already an attachment. So when there's an attachment, I want to say something that feels good to you. That is one.
Mm.
Okay. The second one, if you are being yourself, you tell your friend,
Mm.
your friend will take it differently.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because the friend knows about you. And you will tapis also what you talk to your friend. Right now, because believe it or not, people still want to jaga muka.
Yeah.
So they don't want to say
You don't want to be judged, and okay.
Yeah, so you will always give a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So with me, if my friend asks me, I always ask them, what hat you want me to wear? If a counselor hat, then I know what to do. If a friend hat, I know what to do.
Oh, so I can still come to you, laugh for counseling.
Yeah, but you don't want then another laughing and talking.
Why is Alia so quiet? Call Pandis and kept suddenly, Alia, where are you? Okay, so now, tell me, right, in your experience in counseling, with the hours that you've actually put in, right? Because we are in the month of mental health, right? And because this is what I realized with my friends, and one is I totally agree that we're biased, because I find that when my friends come and talk to me about certain things, I tend to take in all the other past information that I already know about them, which already brings in a judgment.
Mm.
So what I have learned how to do is that if they really need a listening ear, which I'm not very good at, can never be a counselor, because after 3 times, like, get over it, man. I've learned how to say, you know what, I think I can't be neutral. I acknowledge I can't be neutral. So I thought, so that's something I'm picking up from you. Why, some of us go to our friends for a listening ear, but that doesn't amount to the help that we really need. But what's your take, or rather, what's been your experience? Because one of those things that you said is people who go for counseling, they need to acknowledge that I need help.
Mm.
But it's difficult to say I need help.
Of course.
Right? So tell me about the resistance that you think people generally experience when they actually need help. Because I have friends who talk to me, and I will tell them, you really need to speak to a counselor or a coach or a therapist, right? Because I have access to them. And because I know there's no way it's going to end with me. I can listen, but it will be recycled, right? And I've only seen resistance, right?
So I just go back a little bit. Okay. We were taught about hypertension, diabetes, cancer, physical activities at a very young age. Okay, so I know if my parents have all these illnesses, all right? But when we talk about mental, we always say, okay, this person, mental, aggressive, you need to go to mental institution. So we have been brought up understanding and learning that mental is bad. People who have mental needs to go and seek help, eat medication, they can't perform, all this stuff. So now that stigma is still inside. You see, our brain is like a muscle. It store a lot of memories inside. Right? So when you store a lot of things that you learn, you might forget, but the brain is so powerful, it works in a different way. So now if you tell someone, I need to go and see a counselor, or you need to go and see a counselor, the first thing, you think I'm crazy? I'm okay, I'm fine, I still can do other stuff. So the stigma or the awareness that mental health is so beautiful, people don't understand. Okay? Just to share a little bit, mental health is where someone able to perform at their optimum level. That means they can socialize, they can talk, they can eat, they can do their tasks, they can manage their emotion. You know, if they feel angry, sad, they are able to manage that. So all of us have mental. You got brain, you got mental. So, no, really. So when all these, things, when people talk about mental, community talk about mental, family talk about mental, there's already a stigma. So when you ask somebody, you need to get help, they say, no, I'm fine. Why should I go and get help?
So it is affecting us at the identity level because we've already decided that if I'm having fever, it's okay to see a doctor because that's acceptable. Correct? And that's normal. But if I'm having problems, I will say emotionally, and I'm not able to perform, right? So what I loved about your mental health definition is that when we know we are not at our best, i.e. optimal, we need help because there are some things we haven't sorted out.
True.
And that sorting out can actually happen in counseling. But even though we're not at our optimal, now when we're not at our optimal, first and foremost, we lose our parts of happiness because I'm not happy with myself. I don't like the person I meet in the mirror. Now, a real quick way will actually be to go and get that sorted out, just like seeing a doctor. I'm not at my best. I don't know what's happening. I'm aching here. So just like that, I'm not at my best. I want to sort this out. And the counselor will actually then take you through a journey by asking you questions, listening to you, reframing, and doing whatever you do to put me back on track to figure out where I got lost in the first place. Is what I'm hearing, right? Yeah. And a lot of people don't come because they probably feel I'm not good enough if I can't sort this out myself.
Or what if people judge me? Especially in an organization, if they start seeking help, people think that, oh, you cannot perform. No productivity. You are a problem maker. You are very difficult. So these are all stuff. I mean, just to share a little bit, I have, I do see minor below 18. But it's a lot of hard work because people think if they seek therapy, we have magic wand that you are okay after the first session, right? So this is a teenage who attempted suicide a few times. And the last time she had to put a plate behind because the backbone break. Yeah? So after 2 counselors didn't work, so through word of mouth, come and see me. Actually, I don't want to deal with teenagers because if you deal with minor, you have to deal with the parents. Sorry lah, parents. So
when you touch me,
I just touch your knee, but I look there. So what it says about you? Okay. So what happened? After a few rounds, and then she started to say that, oh, my parents say don't share about family stuff, family issues to stranger, to outsiders. Then why you come and see a counselor? So that's why we have to explain to them, yes, we are stranger, but we are professional. Whatever you say remains here, and we have to go through a few times because it's already solid in the child's brain that you're not supposed to share. And if they share, what are the levels that I can share? what the issues going in the family between father and mother, or if you have a blended family, you have relatives staying. So all this sometimes is not nice. It can be very negative, dirty, whatever you call it. So they don't want to share this. So if you come to a counseling session and if you don't share, we are not God. We don't know anything. You need to feed us information. Only then we are able to assist you. You know? And like you mentioned about physical health, right? Yeah, you have fever or you have vomit or diarrhea or whatever. If you go and see a doctor asks how long you have this fever. You had it for 1 week, but you only say 3 days. Okay? Like mental health, we ask, what's wrong with you? I cannot sleep only 1 week ago. But actually this problem has been there for many, many years. But we don't acknowledge because we have our own resilience. All right? So the moment you start to feel that you things that is out of your norm for more than 2 weeks, actually 2 weeks is not very long, start talking to people. Someone you can trust first. Okay? Maybe they can come and talk to you or to anyone, your friends, your relative, that you are able to express yourself without being judged.
Nice.
All right? Then you see, and this is very important, you must be open. Because people are going to ask you stuff. And you must be willing to open that wound, that pain. Okay? In order to grow, to develop, to be better, to be happy, you need to open up your pain, feel it, go through it, acknowledge it, then bye-bye, next step. But we are unable. That's why I in my session, I also say have courageous conversation. Okay? So when you have courageous conversation, is to tell the other person in the right way, right, that certain things I feel that I need. Certain things that you do that I don't like. Okay? But most often, we don't have this courageous conversation. Why? We feel we might offend that person, or we feel that, I don't feel good. If after this person don't want to talk to me, how?
The rejection, the sense of the fear of rejection.
So I will go back to that person. It's mirroring. That means you don't feel comfortable, you don't feel good, therefore you portray it on the other person. So work on yourself.
So much of work.
Of course.
Okay. There's a question from both Gerald and Ali. I'm going to hold that on first for a while because my question is more important than their question. You brought this up about, and I have this with adults, right, where they would say as a friend confide in me, which I'm very grateful for, like they trust me. Yeah, fine. There's also responsibility there. But what I have found is that, they also, when I talk to them about talking to generally any other person, right, I mean, it's not because I'm more trustworthy than other people. There are a lot of adults who feel that they need to lead this secret life for the society. I don't know, for me, definitely in my community, right? And what's your take on that? So while I understand that you don't owe it to the world to tell your whole story on social media and publicly, what I have learned is that people need to appreciate you, to appreciate your story, so that they appreciate where the pain is coming from, not to judge you. All right? I think, and there are people who genuinely care for you. They want to truly understand you. But we are also growing up in culture where we say, don't wash your dirty linen in public. So when we talk, we're not talking about going in public, but whether it's children or adults, sometimes, even though there are people who are trustworthy, but because we are being controlled by jaga muka, or look after your water face, or how can I tell the truth because they'll judge me. For me, I find it difficult when I'm having a problem with somebody else. Say, for example, I'm having a problem with you. I find it difficult to talk about it to somebody because I'm so afraid I will represent you wrongly. Because that's what happens sometimes with friends, right? They're not neutral. So what is your advice as to how do we know who are the safer people to talk to? How do I choose my safe space with people I know in my community, in my family, among my friends? Wow, long story.
Very long
Short question.
story.
As I was trying to
It's
get to
okay.
the question.
I know.
Thank you.
It's okay. All right. Okay. It's very subjective, lah. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
It's always through trial and error. I look at it that way.
Okay, fair enough.
When you see some friends, you can have a long relationship, but then sometimes it will not last. Sometimes you have that a friend that someone that you know, acquaintance that you know for a short while, you can click, right? So I always say, if you want to talk, you know that you can talk to this person. Always try something that is not so bad. Something is safer, so that you know that I'm able to manage this. And then wait, okay? And then you see this person, what kind of advice this person gives you, what kind of do this person listen to you? That's very important. Listening can be so many different ways. So they are able to listen to you. Okay, then that's important. So you will know if you are really truly listening to yourself, you will know whether who can you talk to.
Nice.
And it's all work in progress.
Nice.
Okay? There are some people I feel like, going near them also, I know I cannot.
Yeah, but I've also learned that with friends, and this is my own experience, is that there are some things that you can feel safe with them. There are some areas you cannot feel safe with them because they are probably having their own baggages as well when they're looking at you, right? Because we don't know that. So, and that's why counseling becomes the real safe space. If you're really not sure, you're not willing to take the risk, go to a counselor. Great. Alia says, talking to a friend is two-way. Talking to a counselor is different, as they are trained to listen to not just what you're saying, but what you're not saying. Huh?
Betul? For your body language.
Okay. Better don't do all this funny stuff. Okay. But don't you think that even friends, right, or acquainted people generally who are not counselors, isn't everybody also making assumptions and judgments based on what you're not saying?
That's how we ask you.
Right?
For example, if in a counseling session, if you start to hold your hands and all that, when you talk about something, we'll ask you.
Whereas in a normal relationship, I would make the assumption, I may not ask you, and I can conclude things about you.
You see, when we observe, we don't observe through our eyes only. We observe through many different ways. Your non-verbal cue, your indirect messages, your tone. So there's a lot of things that is happening at one go.
Right.
Where we develop those skills through 4 years of training, plus internship, and then have to go through license, have to go through interviews so that you are qualified and licensed counselor. Okay. No, because everyone say, "Oh, I'm counseling, duh."
Yeah.
Anyone can say that.
Yeah. So that's the last word I want to be associated with. I'm not a counselor. Okay, Gerald is asking, based on your experience, what are the most common cases? I am glad in Malaysia counseling is more accepted now. So I'm going to actually ask you to validate that. Is counseling more accepted now? I think we talk about it more, but is it really more accepted?
Okay, so two ways. I always ask them what mental health means to you. What counseling means to you. Because someone can just say, "Oh yes, my organization, my family, we go and seek help and all that." But do they really go deeper? I can just tell, okay, go for counseling. And you say, okay, that's part of acceptance. You go, but do you really believe in that process? Because in counseling, not just smiling, you will cry, you will do, your emotion will like roller coaster. And we love when it happens. Because that's where
So bad.
Yeah, of course, that's
Why
where
do you like
your
me to cry?
true
That's
self.
why I don't want to come for counseling because I don't want to cry.
Not everyone cries.
For example, lah. But I may not want to come because now you say you want to see me cry. So
Like
like
I say, I see you cry.
no lah.
Then you just
For
take this and
example.
just laugh.
So tell me, why do you say whatever happens, if people express what is really happening for them, and crying is one part of it, why is that good? Why is that good for healing?
Because you are releasing it. You see, the more you hold, the more you keep, it damages your body. Okay? That's why you get pain. That's why sometimes when you do something, you cannot focus. That's why sometimes you are being difficult to people around you. Normally you are happy-go-lucky, you are okay and all that. Then there are times where you feel like, so annoying, like don't disturb me. Or you cannot listen loud noise. Or when people touch you, you feel like don't touch. These are all signs. If you don't display these symptoms before, and now you display, right? So that means you need help, right? So when you go into counseling session, when they start to open up, when they go through that emotion, that means this is already deep down, it's inside of you. You don't know where to channel it out.
Nice.
And you need to be vulnerable because mental health is very subjective. We cannot tell you, oh, you have this symptom, therefore this is your diagnosis. Or you have this symptom, your diagnosis, no. Okay? Being vulnerable is important.
How do you think we get to a point where we've convinced ourselves that we are okay when we're not okay?
Don't overthink.
Tell me more.
You see, we tend to, when we overthink, right, we tend to bring our past. Oh, I've done this before, or and it didn't work. So now, similar situation, but different environment, different people, and different resources, we will still tend to think that, it didn't work. So we need to put the past away and see how can you do things differently? How can you do things, in a way that, okay, one thing like I just say, when I ask people, right, who come to me, what have you done? Oh, I've done everything, nothing works. That means you have not done everything yet. Because if you have done everything and one thing works, that means then you can say I've done and I know this one works. But if they say they've done everything but only 2-3 times, and they make believe that, oh, I cannot do it. And then they keep it and keep it. So in the counseling session, when you pour it out, it's you being vulnerable and you want to make a change for yourself.
So what I'm hearing is that when we lose hope, basically, then that's where we get stuck, isn't it?
Lose hope? No, I don't think so. If I put myself, I don't really lose hope. But I acknowledge that something is not right with me.
No, what I'm saying is that, see, when we talk about when we are not okay and we think we are okay.
Okay, when you say lose hope and all that, is quite
the range.
Yes.
We're talking about normal stuff like no lah, I don't think I can do this. I don't think the other person will change.
That is the value, your belief. Your belief that you have brought up or something that you learned that I cannot do this. I'm able to do that. And a lot when we have cases, right? They say, oh, it's in the education system. Oh, the government is like this. Oh, it's like that. I ask only one thing: what you do for yourself. You can blame others, you can project it to others, but what do you do for yourself?
What have you done about it?
Correct, not? You say that, oh, I need help, but you don't put effort to get help. So who are you to condemn about others?
Okay. So you're basically pushing the responsibility back to me lah.
Of course lah. It's your work.
Want to come for counseling. Okay, never mind. So we need to talk after this. Based on experience, what are the common cases? Gerald wants to know what are the common cases that you are. I suppose, Gerald, you're asking for trends, right? So what sort of cases come to you
Okay.
when we counseling?
During MCO, We have a lot of small businesses and SMEs,
Mm.
that have issues. So that is the trend that time
Mm.
because no income and they have to have a lot, right? Then we also have what you call this, kids who have peer issues.
Mm.
Okay, peer issues, bullying.
Mm.
So these are few of the common issues, and I'm doing what you call that, working together with ATPK. Financial is another big issue that people are facing, but they don't know. They're willing to spend, but when it comes to important things for them to have, they don't want.
Give me an example.
Okay. Let's say online shopping. Okay. For example, they want to buy this cup. They see it's nice. So they say, oh, I love the cup, the color matches my baju, contrast and all that, I will buy this. And this cup costs 100 ringgit. They're willing to spend on this rather than spend the 100 ringgit for their development, to go into counselling. That they expect that to be free because it's helping profession. I'm also in a lot of this WhatsApp support group. There's a lot of stigma about counsellors. They said that, wait, I translate in English. Let me get a word.
You tell in Bahasa, I can translate.
Okay.
I try.
I think you can.
Okay.
Okay, they say kebanyakan counsellor pentingkan diri sendiri. 1-2 session mereka charge beratus-ratus. Padahal saya tak dapat counselling. Saya perlukan bantuan. Saya tak ada pekerjaan yang bagus. So you cannot put
I translate.
Okay.
Counselors are very self-centered. They are charging hundreds of dollars for 2 sessions. I'm jobless. I need help. And they're charging me money. And I think that's not fair because I deserve this help.
You see? So if we give everyone free, what we going to help? The next thing, you need to counsel. I don't need counsel because I have no skill, right? I need the money to sustain myself.
No, but if you don't have money, you will need counseling too because you got yourself there. Okay.
Right?
So what you're saying is that we don't see the value in solving and growing and developing ourselves.
Yeah, because they are spoiled. Anything about self-development, they expect the government, they expect the NGOs, they expect others to do for their own development. But to beautify, to buy things that is unnecessary, they will spend. They will go to Instagrammable place. One coffee will charge 20 ringgit, but they can because why? Social media, a lot of likes, a lot of followers. So where's your priority? Take care of yourself in long term or instant gratification so that I have all the likes. So this is what we say in the mindset, right? If you don't take responsibility to be better, you don't take responsibility to seek help because your coping mechanism is negative, then don't blame others. That means you're not looking or you have not searched for the solution yet.
Got it. So going back to Jared's question, so pandemic time basically was financial issues with
Financial divorce,
during
high
pandemic.
rate, divorce.
Tell us a little bit more.
Last time, if you fight with your spouse, you go out. Now you fight with your spouse, you stay in the same house. You cannot avoid yourself.
You mean pandemic lah?
Yeah lah.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of things lah. So we cannot say specifically, right? But the research also shows that age 18 to 30, I take the numbers that is above 10% lah. 18 to 30 years old, majority of them show symptoms of moderate to severe depression. Symptoms, and this doesn't mean they seek help. It's just that they do, we run assessment with the ministry, okay? And these are all data collected and doesn't mean that they ask for help.
I think that goes into Jared's next question. Based on research and data, do you think most people require counseling? I'm going to hold on to that. Tell us a little bit more. So when people are showing moderate to severe symptoms, can you tell us a little bit about when we look around, what are the symptoms that we look out for that people need help? Besides not being at their optimum.
There's so many lah.
Give a few lah.
Isolation.
Okay.
Sometimes they have eating disorders, that is they don't eat or they eat too little. Okay, or sleep disorder, they sleep too much or they don't sleep. Okay, constantly crying, and then they get agitated very fast. They, sometimes they just blow. They just snap people. Okay, sometimes they feel that the heart rate is moving too fast. So these are some of the signs and symptoms, but it doesn't mean that you have depression. It might relate to other stuff because it's very subjective. You can, unless you go through clinical assessment, okay, clinical diagnostic, and then we will know where you fall.
Tell me, why do you think people choose to be in pain when they know they can seek help? Because I know sometimes we hide behind growth. Sometimes we listen to all these positive quotations, what kill you makes you stronger. Right? Yeah, so tell me how do you
Okay,
get
for me,
it?
for me, I feel it's the fear and the guilt. Okay, the fear of losing others, the fear of losing things. Okay, past guilt. Okay, then they think that I deserve this. Okay, I've done a lot of bad things and all this other stuff. So for me, I feel this two things: fear and guilt. I don't know about the rest of you. You can search yourself, but this is the two common thing. Because from young, boys don't cry. Boys must be macho. Girls, you must sit this way and you must behave. You cannot play this. You cannot do that. Everything you cannot. So there's fear. And then if you do a mistake, you're being punished. So there's guilt. You know what I mean? So a lot of that inside of us. So we need to remove it slowly. And that's what sometimes, right? How we communicate with others, it will affect.
How about religious teaching?
Okay.
Let's not mention any specific way, but generally, people who tend, when you're religious, and I'm differentiating religious and spirituality. So when you're religious, you're going to a house of worship regularly, and you're hearing people who are wise, people who are spiritual, telling you, God has chosen you for this difficult journey. You're the chosen one. And people believe, that they have to sacrifice, and kill themselves. That makes them a better person. So when they suffer, it's almost thinking like every time I suffer, I'm one step closer to heaven, kind of a thinking, right? There is great thinking around that God, got nothing better to do, find you of all people and give you difficulties. God has given it to you so that you become stronger, great. So it's like part of your journey of growth, right? So while I understand the wisdom behind growth, right? Tell me a little, talk to me a bit more about it, because sometimes I think I don't know whether God looks around looking. I don't know. I haven't spoken to God yet, but I think God got better things to do. That's my thoughts. But sometimes we are attracting these difficulties in our life because of the way we have been, right? But we don't choose to come out because now we are happily behind, one step closer to heaven. So tell me more about it.
Okay. Okay. We need to understand that all of us will have a religion to guide us. And we need to understand that all religion teaches the same good things. Okay, good deeds, do good deeds, talk good words, and all that. So it's all good, right? And again, in my sessions, in my classes, I always say, don't use religion to judge a person. Okay. We do have cases where this person condemned, saying that, oh, you didn't pray so much, or you didn't burn, or you never look at the all the numbering,
didn't pray hard enough,
no profession and all this stuff.
Don't forget it.
All.
Yeah, but
all.
profession specific again.
Burn holy water, whatever.
Yeah.
All. So you need to understand people who go through mental health, right? Or, from where they are able to manage or where they really need help, religion is the first place they go. They learn a lot. Okay, they will chant, prayers. They will have their mantras. They do whatever that is needed to make them feel better. Okay, but if they are still unable to be better and they come and talk to you, don't use all these words because it only makes them feel even worse. All right. And it gives you the power like, oh, I know about religion, I pray, I do this, I do that. That's why I have good mental health. No. Mental health don't see what color you are, what race you are, religion, no. So, and also most of the all these religious people, I cannot say religious people are all these what? Like all these priests, the ustad and all that, they are very good in the religion part. But when it comes to counseling skill, to look at it from a different angle is different. I give you a scenario, yeah? If you are a counselor, okay, I'm a counselor, and I only counsel children, and now you ask me to counsel someone in organization, okay? I have not exposed, I have no further skill. I will take whatever I learn here and just put it there. That's it. Which might not be the case, So you must understand when you go and see people, like what I've mentioned, they are good at their own field. So that's where, in order for you to get a better understanding, you need to have added skills in counseling because not everyone you need to use the same technique. It's always different technique, different ways of looking at it.
Different practices lah.
Correct.
So what might work in a religious setting may not work in psychological healing that is required.
Yeah.
Because I'm not too sure how many religion has incorporated the latest sciences and psychology in the practices is what I hear you say.
Yeah.
Correct. All right. Is there any other question? Gerald, I don't know. Did you get the answers to your question? Alia says, good point about instant gratification and about, so she's saying about the instant gratification. So you've actually clarified for us that counseling is really, I need help. I'm not at my optimal. Go and get help quickly so that you can find out how you are contributing to your own mess. Number one, take action, change, and be back at your optimal performance, which then leads to your own happiness and acceptance of your best self. Is what you seem to have given. So tell us, Sangeeta, right, before we end, right? What do you think we can do as a community, as a society, so that we spend a bit more time in valuing personal development? What can we do? We need to go for counseling. That's right, when we need help. But beyond that, I think, we can afford to actually spend a bit more effort into our own personal development. So what do you think we can do so that we don't become dysfunctional over?
Yeah.
Like when you talk about 18 to 30, it's quite scary, right? Right? The younger generation, and sometimes I think it is, they have a lot of things seems better, right? It seems better, like you people like you, me, and Alia had to do 2 jobs, study part time, right? But they have it better, and I'm trying to figure out, why do you get so worked up? Because I don't remember that, right? And I'm not trying to compare. So obviously, some things worked better for us, even though life seemed to be difficult, and the younger generation seemed to be most affected, right? And what can we actually do now? I think this generation whoever needs help needs help. But what are we doing perhaps within our community that has led us to be maybe, I don't know whether I'm using the right word, less resilient? I'm not sure. What's the word?
Okay. What we can do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's go back during our era, just a short one, right? If you misbehave, if I misbehave, My neighbor will go and tell to my parents. And the next thing you know, we kena wallop,
Mm.
you know. And yes, so that's and we end up learning things a lot by ourselves.
Mm.
We talk, we explore, we are exposed to dirt. Okay, but nowadays the parents are so protective.
Mm.
Okay, I've seen parents who like sit on the table, they take wet tissue and start wiping.
Mm.
So how do you develop your child immune?
Mm.
Okay, and then can you hold your gadget? The kid will be holding gadget.
Mm.
The parents will be feeding. Must act a bit lah. Feeding. So do the child know what they eat? Do they communicate? Do the parents actually communicate with the child?
Mm. Mm.
And they want their child to be smart.
Mm.
Okay, it's good, but smart, there's different ways of smart,
Mm.
right? So I think it starts from very, very young. It starts from parents. And then I see parents stroller with iPad,
Mm.
6 months, 5 months,
Mm.
and they, dress up very well and they be like, oh, okay, they're able to do things, going in the cafe. I'm not condemning. You have all the luxury, you have it, do it. That's part of your self-care. But you need to understand that is for you. For your kid, the thing that you need to give is safety. Evaluate those safety. Okay? People say that I don't allow my kids going to the playground, go play or go out cycling and all that. That is external safety. What about internal safety? You give gadget. What are the internal safety? Do you have a good screening? You allow them to go YouTube Kids and all these other movies, cartoons. Do you know a lot of things are embedded inside? Because we are so into physical, we don't see the internal, right?
Mm.
And then you like to post your kids' pictures, running with the pampers. Oh, very beautiful. Your kids have 20 A's, you take snap and then you just color the IC number and all that. For what? So, if you are doing that, start to evaluate. What do I need?
Mm.
What is lacking? Why do I need to display that? Our parents don't do that.
I never got A's, my parents couldn't do lah.
I kena rotan. If I don't get A, I kena rotan. But still,
I get you.
the parents don't really go and tell the whole world. But why we, the younger generation parents, tend to do that?
Well, I have an answer, but that'll be the next episode. So what I'm hearing from you is that the impact that we are seeing in terms of what's showing up as mental health is really an accumulation of choices we've made, perhaps without mindfulness, without knowing what are the consequences of the choices that we've made, and we've ended up here. And what you're basically saying is that whatever you do, just be mindful about instant gratification, number one. Number two is every choice comes with a consequence. Are you
Yes.
clear? Are you making the right choice or the easier choice?
Yeah. And remember, beginning, what did I say? Women, mothers, learn to let go. Okay?
She's telling all the mothers that learn how to let go.
Learn to let go. Okay? Learn to love yourself more, because every day is a day where you learn, you grow, you fail, you cry. Okay? And this is what grows you as a person. Be more mature. Be more knowing things. Then you will get the wisdom, because the more you open, not only here, the more you open, the better insight you will get. And then you will not get like, oh, my son tell me I don't love you. Why you are not like that, mother? So what lah? You want to stay with the mother, go to the mother. I don't bother, But some parents feel like, oh, cannot.
I must do more to win my children's love.
Yeah, especially if they have in-laws staying. Oh, that's another issue. Next door.
Never finish. Okay.
Okay.
Before we finish, thank you so much. I think what you've actually done is you've actually helped us to understand, the healing power of counseling. First and foremost, in the way we live, we would have got ourselves bruised and wounded. And the faster you deal with your bruises and wounding, i.e. via counseling, right, to get the right help, the more quickly you heal yourself, you just make sure these wounds don't deepen,
Yes.
don't create more problems for you in more infections, deeper infections. So just deal with it as it comes, all right, via personal development, via counseling, so that you can get that done. That is what I'm hearing, and that's why counseling heals. So please do get in touch with
Why how?
why how.
So okay. So
Why
side
how?
sikit lah.
Okay,
Side
okay.
lah. Okay.
Promotion time.
Okay. Yayasan Health on Why how? Okay, we organize 9 and 10, 24 hours kettlebell swing for Guinness World Record from our youth exco Elvin Neto. So it's not easy because you have to swing 20 kilos up and down 90 degree. Okay. So please come to Unitar. We start at 12 p.m. on the 9th of October.
Sunday.
Yes. And then we will end 12 p.m. 10th of October.
Monday. Which is a public holiday.
So there's a lot of activities. There's yoga, there's Zumba, there's stalls. Okay, yes, there's t-shirts, there's keychain, there's deodorants, there's cookies. So please come and support us, because whatever donation that you give us, we will go back to the society for the youth. So please, please, please log in or check out Why How LinkedIn, Why How Facebook. Information is there. So see you there.
Yeah.
Okay. Me and Alia will be there. Okay. 24/7. So we're going to sleep there, So please come. Please come.
The two of you need a permanent show, mental and emotional healing. I think it has to be a threesome. So yes, join Sangeeta and Alia, and I'm planning to go there too. On Sunday, at 12 we start and we finish on Monday at 12 for a good cause, for a great time for us to bring about awareness on mental health, well-being of ourselves, our families, people we love, and the community at large. Because we know that when illness hits one, it will get to us somehow, someday, somewhere. And that's why we need to be aware of this. So thank you, Sangeeta, for coming. What else you want to say?
No, I need to exit. Like you said, thank you,
Hey,
Sangeeta.
no,
So I exit. Bye.
no drama. Come here. So tell me, just before you leave and before you say goodbye, what is that one dream that you have for counseling and mental health?
Oh, okay. I'm working hard lah,
You're
and
always
smart. I would like to train or I need more people where I can transfer my knowledge. But you must be genuine. You cannot waste my time. Okay, because my time is precious, and whenever I have that time, I'll be with my family. Okay. So you must be willing to accept, express yourself. If you feel something that you can assist me in getting things better and all that. Okay. And non-calculative, okay, because whatever I do, it's not like I'm going to charge nothing, okay, because you're learning. You're not only learning from me, from all my group of people, it's clinical psychologists, organization psychologists, psychiatrists. So you're going to learn. So I need people where I can transfer my knowledge so that they bring it back to the society. So that is why we have Why How. Okay, one part of it is to transfer, okay, so that at least I can rest a little bit.
Yes.
We have a lot, and reason statistics, one counselor to 3,300 plus people. So it's very
so we need more
draining.
counselors.
But not to worry, you don't need to have 4
You don't
years.
have to do the 4 years now.
No need 4 years, 3 years, or tak payah. The only thing is, you will be like a triage. So we teach you those skills. We teach you to understand symptoms, to know where to link this individual. All right. One more. And if you are a non-mental health NGO, please email us info@yhow.org, because we're going to run programs for non-mental health NGO for psychological first aid. So info@yhow.org.
Okay, finish advertisement.
Okay lah.
All right. Finally, we're getting real. So for those who join us, thank you very much in joining us in Being Whole, Being Me Series 76. You know that you need to stay safe. It is the mental health month in the month of October. So stay safe, not just externally, but what Sangeeta says. Look after yourself internally till we meet with another type of a therapy next week. Coming to you, same time, different sari, same place, different person. Until I see you, take care. Bye.
The saree matches the wall.